Welcome to the Fighting Spirits podcast with me, Gareth A Davies, as I join Tyson Fury in his Hollywood Hills home ahead of his world title fight with Deontay Wilder on December the 1st, 2018. Camp is...
Yes, we are, Gareth. Lovely place, what it is. Beautiful. I'm privileged to be here.
It's a bit of a departure from Big Bear, isn't it?
It is, you know, Big Bear was great and our experience up there was fantastic. Make no mistake, it was a fantastic training facility. Abel Sanchez's gym and Abel were great and everybody at the gym were great, but for me it wasn't really working up there for me because it was high altitude and I couldn't recover in time in between rounds. And I was struggling with it even after 3 weeks of acclimatising. I was still struggling, and for my style I open up in bursts, and for where we are up there, it's very hard to open up in bursts because you don't get your energy back, so you almost become a one-pace fighter, which isn't for me because I have to go through the gears quite a lot.
What was the whole experience like of going to Big Bear? It's places where Lennox Lewis had trained in the past, Oscar De La Hoya, Muhammad Ali had been there. Major names have been there. Did you like the history of being up there? Could you feel why they'd gone there?
I did like the history, and at the time when the guy said, "Oh, we're leaving in the morning," I was very upset and distraught about leaving because I didn't want to break camp, and I just thought, let's just stick it out up here. But now I'm here, I realise it's for the best. But it was a great experience, and I'd like to go back there again for more base compound hardcore training early on, rather than so close to a fight. And we just didn't want to risk it in the end of me not recovering and not getting exactly what we needed. So we came down. I think it's a great decision.
It's almost a year. In 27 days' time, 26 days' time, I believe you're 28 stone.
Yes.
And you've lost 130 pounds, 9 stone. You're not amazed because it's you, but it must be incredible to think back that you weighed that much.
You know, I was in a very, very bad time in my life, and I gave up on almost everything, and my body was of no interest to me. To lose that much weight, it was a hell of a fight, you know. It was very, very hard work. Just excuse me a minute because I can hear them, so the camera must be hearing them. Shane! Shut up! Because I'm doing an interview and you can hear it all. We can't, just to keep it a little bit quiet, just quiet down a bit. It's just a dry up. Stop. We can reset. Remind me to reset it. Yeah, if we can hear all that.
Exactly.
Put me off as well, all the shouts and all that.
Yeah, just had a little break there to do a few domestic duties, Tyson and I. Tyson doing all his own washing. I'm sure you do anyway. I notice how, just on that, how disciplined you are about kit goes in your own bag, you do it all, you haven't got an entourage, your brother Shane's here, you've got Tim who's a friend who's been around you a long time, doing your cooking. What's Tim, what's his family name?
Tim Alcock.
Oh, Tim Alcock, A-L-C-O-K-K.
Yeah. Alcock by name, Alcock by nature.
of course.
No, but Tim's a very, very important asset to our team. Not only is a friend, he wants everything for my best interest. And, you know, he's here. Tim's also suffered from mental health problems, so it's good to have Tim around, keep him from going down the bad road again that he was on. We were both on that road together, unfortunately. I believe that it's good for Tim to be here, good for me and good for Tim.
You were saying that a year ago you'd given up on your body.
I'd given up on everything, to be honest.
But what was your mind giving up as well?
Yeah, I didn't want to live anymore. It's no secret, Gareth. It's very well documented. I didn't want to live anymore. I was suffering with depression and anxiety, and I was heavily drinking and doing bad things all the time. Stuff that I wasn't accustomed to, stuff that I'd never done before. And it was almost like I'd let myself down, let my family down, let everybody I knew or thought of down, but I did at that time. I thought I was letting everybody down, but I didn't realise I was suffering with mental health, which is a big thing now that I'm supporting and being an ambassador for, and I'm spreading the word on this heavily, because it's a silent killer, and more needs to be done to help people who suffer inside rather than physically.
Do you think do you look back on, you know, kind of being younger? I remember you telling me when you were 24 you ballooned up to 23 stone. The phrase you used was there was a day when you emptied a couple of vending machines, you told me, literally.
Yes, that's correct, yes.
You know, you sat on the floor with the kids eating sweets.
That's right.
And you went back and emptied another vending machine, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, that's correct.
And you went to 23 stone, and that
I
was...
was actually even heavier than that. Before I made the return with Peter, I was up at 24 stone 10. And then me and Peter worked from January until April 12th. And I got down to 17 stone 7 when I fought Martin Rogan in Belfast.
That's right, yeah.
And I was in great shape on that. So it was something that I'd always done on my career, up and down, all my life basically. My life basically had a graph of this with the mind. And I didn't understand.
Even as a youngster?
Even growing up, yeah.
Well, how did it manifest itself? How did it show itself then?
I used to have this feeling of being alone and being left behind, and like just a terrible inside feeling.
And like an anxiety?
Yes, but I didn't understand anxiety. Up until 2 years ago, I didn't know what I was going through, and I'd experienced it my whole life.
And also, being from a traveller race, if I can say this, I don't know if this is true, but because you're expected to be hard men and not show your feelings and you know, and talk about things, maybe you put up with things. You just put up with stuff. Yeah, you put up with things. Do you know what I mean? And
you bottle it away.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'd done that all my life. Like I'd had so many things and hurdles that I just mounted up, and you know, I probably never spoke about this before to anybody, but you know, we had miscarriages, and in Paris she gave birth to a child at 6 months old, what was dead. And when I had to be there, and she delivered the baby, and we was in one side of the hospital, and my Uncle Huey was dying in the other side of the hospital at the same time. That was like 2014, the end of 2014, and I was only 2 weeks away from fighting Derek Chisora for a final eliminator for the world title.
And you had 2 children at the time, so you thought it was going to be your 3rd child.
We had a child born that was dead, and then the other side of the hospital, my Uncle Huey was in the hospital as well. And then it was just a big... And a week before the fight, he passed away, as we know. And I suppose I didn't really think about it then. I thought, no, I can't think about this now. This isn't for me now. I need to put it to the back of my mind because all this is going on. So yeah, and I didn't really think about it until after the Klitschko fight. And then it all came tumbling down all at once, and all the problems that I'd bottled away, they just exploded. And I couldn't bottle it away no more because there's no more room for bottling. Do you know what? I've been quite lucky in my career. Like, even after I think, when was it now? When did I fight Joey Abel?
2011, was it?
No, it was 2014. It was the comeback. Because after the David A situation...
Oh no, sorry, you've beat Klitschko in 2015, so it was 2014. No, Hay was 2013, 14.
Yeah, 2013. I've been off over 12 months, maybe 14, 15 months. And again, I've ballooned up to a heavyweight, 24 stone or something. And we was out in the south of France training, me and Paris and Peter and the kids and everybody. And again, like 3 days before the fight was on February the 14th. It was a Valentine's Day fight. And 3 days before the fight, we was due to come back, and Paris said, "Oh, I've got, I don't feel well. I've got pains in my stomach." And I said, "Oh, you'll be all right." And hours later, she said, "Oh, I still don't feel well." So we took her to the hospital, and she had like an appendicitis or something like that. And the doctor said, "Look, if you didn't bring her in like now, she would be dead by now."
Wow. So
she had to go for a surgery straight away, straight down to theatre, right before a massive fight again, comeback. So, and then for the Chisora second fight, even though I had all that going on with Paris and Huey and all that, I had a cold right up until the fight, like I had a bad flu. I was in bed in Peter's house we stopped training maybe 10, 12 days before the fight. I was flued up. I was on antibiotics and I was in bed shaking. I was really ill. Where the immune system was low with the training. And Peter said, look, let's just pull out of this fight. He's already pulled out. I said, look, I've had so many pull-outs in fights, like Hay had pulled out twice back to back, and then Chisora had pulled out for the first time round because it was supposed to be in the summer, not the winter.
The Hay thing, by the way, did your head in, because I remember at the time you were raging over it, weren't you?
Yeah, and then I was making a comeback, and then I had the Abel fight, and then I was supposed to fight again, and Frank Warren said, oh well, Chisora can't fight, so we're not going to do a fight now for you. So that was another long stint of inactivity, and then I was supposed to fight Chisora in maybe July or something. That was the second fight, and he got an injury, a shoulder injury or hand injury, so they put it back to the end of November. And again, Peter said to me, he said, look, let's just pull out the fight and get right when you're right. I said, look, I've had 3 pull-outs back to back here with Hay and Chisora. I said, I want this fight. I said, win, lose or draw. I said, I'm not pulling out of this fight. It's not possible for me to pull out. At that time, I'd spent everything money I had as well on all the training camps and whatever else. So anyway, Peter said to me, he said, if it's all going wrong for you in there, he said, I'll just chuck the towel in. Yeah? So I said, no chucking the towel in. Whatever happens, will happen. And this is my lunch, by the way.
And it's baked potato, a huge baked potato, tuna and mayonnaise.
It is, but to be honest with you, it's I don't think we've got any butter, so it'd be like eating sawdust.
This is cooked by Tim Alcock.
Alcock by name, Alcock by nature. But where were we there?
You were saying about how you said, no, I've got to take this fight.
Yeah, and we took the fight, and it right up into the fight, I wasn't feeling great. We'd stopped sparring ages before the fight, and I went in there and I performed again. I had to pull it out of the bag and do what I do best. And managed to win, and that gave me the mandatory status for Klitschko. And then for the Klitschko fight itself, he pulled out before we were supposed to fight. He had a calf injury. A week before the fight, we'd done all the press things, everything, and he went back to his training camp and decided he had a calf injury and put the fight back to end of November. And it was like a blessing in disguise because I was very ill for the fight. I wasn't well. I'd lost a lot of weight. Had to lose maybe six stone for the fight. And it wasn't going great, so Klitschko pulling out was a blessing in disguise for me on the first time. And then even in November, with all the weight loss, I was terrible. For the Klitschko fight, people won't know this, but I was performing very, very terrible in the gym. I couldn't complete 3 rounds of sparring because I was totally energyless. I had nothing in the tank. I was totally empty, running on empty. And we all sat down in the gym and said, look, this is the punishment for losing 6 stone in weight again. Because it's every single time you have a fight, you've got to lose all this weight. It becomes a fat loss camp, not a training camp. And we pulled a sparring, and there's this video evidence of it on online places. Like I'm sparring 2-3 rounds in, I'm just getting punched to pieces by everybody. And my dad's saying, pull him out, he's going to get a cut. And I'm saying, no, carry on. This is how you feel. And it was terrible. It was terrible. And I went into that fight maybe 50% of what I was. And I still managed to win, a great champion. So that's 2 of the hardest fights supposed to be on paper. I went in feeling terrible and pulled it off both times because I rose to the occasion. And then obviously I'd been off and I'd been out again this time and put on the 7.5 stone, and It just seemed to be that my whole career has been stop-start. Stop-start, stop-start. Never had a good run ever. Because every time there's been pull-outs, I've not been active. Nothing has ever went right in my career, apart from everything's went as it should have done.
Do you think you going up in weight is historically linked to you being more depressed about things? And do you think you're going to have to watch your weight as you go forward?
100%. Look, the weight going up in weight is through depression and eating.
Shane doesn't get depressed when he gets heavier, does he?
No.
He's a happy big man, aren't you?
Shane's
sitting behind me here. Tyson's brother, who's very important in the camp.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Yeah, but you know, but if Tyson gets to your size, I suppose you need to. I suppose you're going to know that going forward, aren't you? Because you can regain the belts, Tyson, but will it bring you happiness?
No. Because business don't bring me happiness. You got to. Through all my troubles, I had to learn stuff. Because if you keep going through life experiences and not learning anything from it, you're a fool. So, what I've learned from all my troubles and all my weight gaining is that I enjoy training. I love to work out, I love to train. And when I don't train for a few days, I start getting depressed. And when a week, 2 weeks, I'm totally under. So if I train every day, which I love to do anyway, then I feel fantastic. I feel on top of the world every single day. Only because I train and look in shape.
Healthy in body, healthy in mind for you, isn't it?
Yeah. So I must continue to train for the rest of my life, which I love to do anyway, and why wouldn't anyone want to if they can? And that's about it really. But as for boxing and all that, I think the older you get, the more things goes on in your life and things change. When I was a teenager, my most important thing in the world was being heavyweight champion of the world. And then I got married, met Paris, and then Paris became the most important thing in the world. And then we had Venezuela, and then the kids become more. So I suppose if I was a single man on my own living in LA, driving a sports car every day, and made $1 million and spent it all on women and clothes, then it would still be about careers and all that. But when you've been married for 10 years, and you've been with that person, and you've got 4 kids and 1 on the way, then it's more, I don't think about myself anymore. It's not about me. It's about my kids, it's about a relationship, there's more things. You get responsibilities in life. And there's more things than going playing around boxing in a ring somewhere. You know, this is not a play sport. You can't play boxing. But boxing isn't my priority, if that makes sense. It's my job. So if it was either die or boxing, obviously I'd pick to survive. You know what I mean? Boxing won't come that close. But as a youngster, boxing was everything, if that makes sense. But when you get more responsibilities and more priorities in life, then your job is your job. No matter what your job is, it's your job of work. You got to make a living to provide. That's why I'm a provider for my family. And happiness will only come through being contented in my surroundings and what I have and what I'm doing at that time.
Some of the greatest heavyweights have been most successful in their 30s. I mean, are you saying that you might not want to go on in boxing for too long? You might have set yourself some goals, and if you achieve those goals, we won't see you competitively in boxing anymore?
No, boxing brings me happiness. I'm happy while I'm boxing and fighting. So, whatever happens, happens. I set me stall out to become the heavyweight champion of the world. I did that. Even in the press conference before the fight, when we was in Germany, and I said to Vladimir, I'm not interested in your belts, I'm not interested in your legacy, I'm not interested in going down in history, I'm not interested in defending 26 times. None of that means anything to me. And I still have that same opinion today. I'm more suited as a challenger, not a champion. I don't want to be a champion. Champion is nothing to me. I am the hungry challenger. And when I am a champion, it doesn't make me hungry anymore. I'm not hungry because you're the best. And when you're the best, it's like, is that it? At that time when I was the best, Joshua was a British champion or whatever. Wilder was nowhere to be, he wasn't even on the same planet. Because Klitschko was so in front of everybody else, and when I beat him, it's like, oh, well, he's the best now. And it was like, oh, no one really to challenge me, or he was supposed to be the best man, and I beat him quite comfortable. So, when I'm expected to beat somebody, like Sefer, or Pianetta, or Joe Bloggs, then it's like, alright, whatever. I'll do enough to win. I'm not interested. But when you've got someone like Wilder, who's a real challenge now, is that your battery gone?
Yeah, it's on that, but I won't have time to. I only got one card, but it obviously only does 20 minutes. But that's fine. I'll keep recording with the voice. Thank you.
Yeah. What was? Yes, I was.
But you're saying about
Wilder.
What? Yeah, about Wilder. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can record here.
No, he's a different challenge. He's a challenge that if I make one mistake, it's over.
Is it as simple as that for you? So I'm just going to get you to repeat that. So you really feel that with Wilder, one mistake,
yeah,
and it's over. It could be over.
It could be over because he's probably the biggest puncher in history. One of them, anyway. I don't remember seeing anybody else with 39 out of 40 knockouts ever. Do you? I'm a heavyweight historian, and I don't believe anybody had that record. 39 out.
Joe Lewis had a lot of knockouts.
He did, but nowhere near the same.
No.
Klitschko got a lot of knockouts.
Klitschko had 50 in the end.
But nowhere near the same as this.
No, not in percentage. No. But onto Wilder though. I mean, you know, you guys, you know, you had a very lively 3-day tour. I mean, people say, but they respect each other as well, and you know, he wanted to fight you. I believe he wanted to fight you, Tyson, because he wouldn't have wanted to fight you after 2 or 3 more fights that you'd had. My view. Yeah. He sees. I think he underrates you, in my view.
And you know what I think? In all this, I think when I was on top of my game, these boys wasn't talking. They never had nothing to say. Not one of them. But I think they see he's been off 3 years, he's been ballooning, he's been drinking, he's been playing around. He's had 2 easy comeback fights. If we're ever going to beat him, this is the time to do it. Because we let him get rolling again with another 4 or 5 fights, and there's no chance of beating him. And they're trying to do it while they've got the best opportunity, which any sensible person would. And the thing is, that's what they're banking on. They're banking on me being not the same fighter as I was years ago. But I'm not the same. I'm better. I'm a lot better now than when I fought Klitschko. I've got more experience. I move better. I'm stronger. I'm more wiser. Cleverer. They say when you're a challenger and you become a champion, you improve 40%. That 40% didn't just fall away from me. I've got that now. It's in the bank. And I have improved so much as a fighter. Not just under Ben Davison, but just that Klitschko win. It improved me so much. 12 rounds of him improved me so much. And I was quite shocked with myself when I went back into the gym at 27 stone. I'd never lost anything. I was sparring with Daniel Dubois when I was 27 stone, and Joe Joyce as well, and Joe will even tell you how awkward I was and how I had the speed still at that weight. And if Daniel wants to speak honestly, then he can tell you the same. I haven't lost anything. My movement's good, my speed's good. I read a lot of interviews where my legs, they say my legs are gone. And I've got no legs underneath me, but you saw me in that gym today. Did them legs look gone to you?
No.
I was dancing around that ring like a gazelle. On ecstasy, maybe. I was on my toes the whole 10, 12 rounds. I don't feel gone. I feel good. I feel very good. Like you say, I'm 30. I'm in the flirty 30s. And I'm ready. I'm ready for battle.
But they say that heavyweights are...
Mature late.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Uncle Huey now, God rest his soul, he always told me about this. He said, you won't mature till you're in your 30s, late 20s, 30s. And I think he's right. I'm really coming into my man strength now. Me being very tall takes longer to mature and longer to get your act together. But the way I look at it, Gareth, is the way I've always looked at boxing is very, very simple like this. If I'm any good, I'll win. And if I'm no good, then I'll lose. And I think Shane made a very good point a couple of days ago. He said, what's the difference in winning and losing? I said, go on. He said, how a man comes back and what he does when he does lose or win a fight. See, me, I have never tasted defeat. I don't know what it's like to lose. And it'll be a test of character, should I get knocked out.
But do you think that you lost something but maybe gained something when you won those belts? You were the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, and then partly not your fault, partly the way you felt and what happened to you, partly the fights didn't happen, the belts went away, you went AWOL and had to sort yourself out. But
yeah.
You realised that it wasn't until you'd lost them like you weren't the champ anymore, that you realised that you needed them back.
Well, I can give an honest insight on what was going on. Brutally honest as always. It's okay. I went to Germany, done the unthinkable. And I was on top of the mountain. Like you say, nobody disputed that I was number one on the planet. There was no dispute from anybody. Okay. And it was like the fire had died in me soul, if that makes sense. There was no desire anymore. I could have continued to box on for money, but I always said to myself, Gareth, the moment I don't want to box anymore, money will never dictate to me what I'm going to continue to do, because I wouldn't let money destroy what I built my whole life to do.
Where does that come from? Where does that feeling about it, knowing that, come from then in you? That you won't be dictated to by money, or if you turn it up?
Yeah, because I look at the world and everything's controlled by money, apart from me. Because in that Klitschko rematch, I was guaranteed a lot of money, excess of 10 million. I worked all my life to get to that stage so I could make some money. And when I had the winning lottery ticket in my hand, I didn't want it. Because I knew I couldn't go into that Klitschko fight with no desire and no will to win. And I wasn't about to get laid up the canvas by Klitschko for money, because that's what would have happened. Because I was suffering with depression and I had no will to win. I didn't even want to fight anymore. But I felt it coming on, because before the Klitschko fight, before we even left to Germany to finalise the camp, Shane was there. I said to me dad and my two brothers, Shane and John, and I said, look, win, lose or draw this fight with Klitschko. I said, it's going to be my last fight. I won't fight again afterwards. And I said, what are you talking about? Why? You've worked all your life for this, to get into this position, from being a little child, going to that gym all your life, sacrificing everything for this moment. And if you win, you don't want to continue. I said, yeah, that's correct. I said, because for this fight, I want it. I want to win. But I know I'm not going to have any desire afterwards. And it was right, I didn't have any desire. If Peter will talk sensible and honestly, which he always does, then I'm sure he can tell you exactly what happened.
It wasn't able to motivate you back again, yeah?
No, there was no motivation.
What happens to you when you've got no motivation then? Do you literally find it hard to get out of bed in the morning? Is it
I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
It's like we went away. Peter knew that I was struggling at this time, and he knew what I was going through with my own battles. And it was like, I need to get him away from it. So he decided that we was going to go to Holland and train, because we'd had good times in Holland years previously.
In the woods, yeah?
In the woods.
Yeah, we've been there.
We always had great times there.
I remember coming there when a fight was that when the hay fight was called off and we all came out there? We all came out and spent 2 days there with
That's
Nick.
right, yeah.
Was that?
Yeah, that was a fight.
Yeah.
So he said, right, let's go over here, and I think he was trying to get back what we had a few years before, the desire and the will, and I think he saw that I was lacking in all categories. So he wanted to motivate me by going back over there so we could reunite and get that flame burning again. And we set up camp in Holland again. This time I was heavyweight champion of the world. And I was there and I felt so down on a daily basis. But I gave myself one more day, every day. There wasn't one day that went past I was in Holland for that Klitschko 2 rematch training camp where I didn't go to bed at night and say I'm going to go home in the morning because I've had enough. This isn't for me anymore. I physically knew and mentally knew I couldn't do it anymore. The fight was gone. There was zero fight left in me anymore. I didn't want to do it. I said another day. I was torturing myself for more days. Peter could see in my eyes that I didn't have it anymore. I didn't have that desire. I just didn't want to be there. And in the sparring, I'd stand there and let big heavyweights tee off on me, and not defend myself. We had Robert Alenius over, and he can testify to this, Robert. And I was just standing there and letting Robert hit me bang in the face with big right hands and left hooks. So he's going, what's going on? So then I'd get angry and come back, bam, 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 bam. But I'd just be standing there, I'd be headbutting the ring corners and stuff. Just gone completely. I just didn't want to fight. I just didn't want to be there.
It's dangerous, that place, isn't it?
Yeah,
to
I wanted them to knock me out. I wanted to be knocked out on the floor. So Peter said, look at this. He said, well, what are we going to do here? He said, he doesn't want to fight no more. He doesn't want to do it. And no matter how much money was on the table, I couldn't motivate myself. They had big posters of me all up and down the gym, like big banners and that in Holland. We had everything, the best gym you could ever get. We had an office full of all proteins and everything. We had everything, the best of everything. Couldn't get no better training camp. Our friend Barry, he built us a massive gym over there, and weight section, boxing section, big bag, speed, but everything. The best of the best we had. But still I couldn't get motivated. We had the best sparring partners, everything.
Why do you think you're seemingly even more popular in America than Deontay Wilder is?
I think Americans, they love the comeback story as good as anybody. And I think my story has captured the imagination of the public, because it's almost like a fairy tale story. I went from rags to riches, back to rags again, suffered with depression, contemplated suicide, and lost everything I ever had and worked hard for, to then turn my life back around again and get back to the pinnacle of the sport within a year. It's a compelling story, wouldn't you agree?
I do agree, yeah, and I also think Americans they like the Brits naturally, and I think they like characters.
I think
and
so.
I think, you might be seen as the eccentric Gypsy King as well, because you like to play, you're fun, and I think in the last year, I think the public's seeing a different Tyson Fury.
I think they're seeing the real me.
Yeah.
Before it was an act. I had an act to play because I wanted to be world champion, and I needed to get people interested in seeing me.
Was the thing with Deontay a bit of an act over the 3 days? I mean, I don't want to press it was an act because you're promoting a fight.
No, it wasn't an act.
Were you trying to get under his skin?
I think we were both trying to do our best to do what we could do to each other, really.
Yeah.
There was times there when I thought we was going to have a fight. Really, like people say, oh, it's acting, whatever, but when you're face to face with two unbeaten champions, both got pride, both got a point to prove.
You're fighters at the end of the day.
We're fighters. We're getting in each other's face, calling each other names. It's one push too many and it's off. So it was heated. It was a heated 3 days, and I was exhausted afterwards. I'll be very honest, and I'm sure Deontay will say the same.
Were you sick of the sight of him?
I wasn't now sick of the sight of him. I was just physically and emotionally exhausted because I was doing hundreds of interviews. I was going from one place to the other, filming for promos and whatever. Then we had to put on the press conferences and do all the talking and all that.
Was it private jets and everything, or?
Not really.
Because you went London, New York, LA.
Yeah. We went London, New York, LA. Just normal
you didn't
planes.
go. You didn't go economy class though, did you? You couldn't fit you in an economy class.
No, I did have a good seat. That led down and whatever.
But that is exhausting doing those press tours, yeah.
People think it's easy. Oh, it's sort of the best thing about boxing, all the media and all that sort of stuff. But it is exhausting. It's very exhausting. And when I got to Big Bear, I was exhausted for a few days. It took me a few days to recover all the travelling as well. 11 hours and 7 hours and 5 hours plane journeys and stuff. It was exhausting. I was glad it was all over. And then recently I had to come back down again a few weeks ago and do it all again, public workouts.
I watched all of it, yeah.
And all-day interviews.
Where you threw one of the American journos out and very nicely. Tell me what you feel when you're close to Deontay Wilder then. I mean, do you respect him?
I respect him as a fighter and as a man, yes, of course I do. If I didn't, then we'd be in the wrong game.
Do you need a dislike for him to be able to hit him and to knock him out or to outbox him? Or? No,
I don't need a dislike for anybody. It's like I said before, it's my job, it's what I do, what I get paid to do.
He seems to be an angry man though. Or maybe he isn't with you privately, I don't know.
He does seem to be an angry man, like he's got a point to prove, hasn't he? Obviously, to everybody's eyes, it's like, oh, Tyson Fury's the lineal champion. Deontay Wilder's a belt holder. And it's like, he wants what I have, and that's to be considered as the best.
But doesn't it amaze you though that I've done my own straw poll. I asked airline stewards, people sitting next to me on the airplanes, people in taxis, the Uber drivers, do you know who Deontay Wilder is? I haven't found someone yet who knows who Deontay Wilder is.
Exactly. So,
I mean, don't get me wrong, I was down in the Wildcard gym with you. If I'd asked anyone in there, they would have known.
Of course.
If I ask any boxing fan, they know it. But the mainstream do not know who he is. Does that surprise you though in America?
It doesn't surprise me because it was the same with me really. When I was just a boxer, it's almost like boxing fans and sports fans all know who I am. But you have to be a crossover star to the general public. Now, I don't know how many people you could ask, 1,000 people in England, anywhere in the United Kingdom. Have you ever heard of someone called Tyson Fury? And I don't think there'd be many people who would say, no, we haven't heard of that guy. Who would say, what does he do? Because it wasn't just sports. I hit the headlines for the wrong reasons, the right reasons. So many different things. The mental health side of things has just gone through the roof. Popularity, like more people know me in America than know Deontay Wilder. I was in Big Bear, and a guy came over to me, oh man, that Klitschko fight, great fight. And he said, oh, what are you doing over here? Are you training for a fight? I said, yeah, training for a fight, December the 1st. Who you got? I said, I'm fighting Deontay Wilder. Who? Deontay Wilder. He said, who's that guy? I said, he's the American World Heavyweight Champion. He said, no way. Didn't know him.
Is he Deontay Wilder who then, really?
Deontay Wilder who? So I believe Deontay's thinking he needs to defeat me to give himself some gratification. And what better way to do it than catch me when he thinks I'm on my lowest and thinks I'm doing it for the wrong reasons. But I'll tell you the truth and be very honest as always. If I didn't think I could beat Deontay Wilder, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here for the money because, like I said many times, Gareth, you know, I live in a nice house and I drive.
You can call me Russell, it's okay. You were about to call me Russell.
Yeah, I was.
You live in a nice house, you know, you've got a beautiful family.
Yes, but if we had to move out of that house into a trailer somewhere and not even have a car, not have nothing, I would prefer to do that than to go into this fight knowing I can't win for money. Because the houses, the cars, the watches, the clothes, whatever, the lifestyle, it all will leave us one day. We can't take it with us. Nothing. Nothing we do on this planet will ever be taken off it. It has to stay here. You know, I've lost loved ones in the past, I've lost things and things that close to me and people, and we will continue to keep losing people who we care about, friends and family. And it's a journey of life. But while I'm alive on this earth, I wouldn't sacrifice what I've worked all my life for money. I think I showed that with the Klitschko rematch. I wasn't going to go in there and get beat for money. Although it was a large amount of money, I've probably got more money for that than I am for Deontay Wilder now. So I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it. And I know Shane's not a millionaire, but whatever he's got, he would give so I could win this fight. My dad the same, all my family, everyone. And that's what it means to us. It means more to us than money. We would give everything we've got, and we would all be skint on the 2nd of December if I could be guaranteed a win. That's what boxing means to our family. Not money. You could give me 100 million to all of us to lose, and I wouldn't do it. I'd rather try and win for whatever I'm getting on the night.
Is that because there's 10 generations of bare knuckle boxers and there's boxing in the DNA that it is so
It
special?
means so much and it's so dear to us. It is, it's a special thing. Not many people can get to grips with what I'm saying. Because at the end of the day, everyone needs money to survive and whatever, and everyone wants a better life, and for the kids they all want better lives, but when you get that better life, was it what you wanted? Was it what you expected? Was it what it was cracked up to be? Because what I found with fame and glory and riches and everything else comes with it is a large emptiness, void. And all the materialistic things in the world can't fill it. And for me as a personal person, the only thing that can ever fill that void is God. But that's just me.
Do you you don't like Eddie Hearn seemingly in comments? Obviously you may deal with him next year. I'm sure you want to. I don't know about. There's a rematch clause with Deontay Wilder, yeah. Yeah, so you beat Deontay Wilder, you've got to fight him a second time. But at some point, presumably, you want to fight Anthony Joshua.
To be honest, I'm not really looking at the future.
Right.
Because like I said before, nothing's cast in stone. And if I felt like how I felt after Klitschko, then I won't be returning for a while, you know. And it possibly could happen. But
would it be for different reasons this time? I mean, I don't know if you can control depression, but or whether it was depression or not, but or desire maybe, because it could be depression, it could be desire, it could be just you just don't want to do it anymore, that you've reached another Everest, as we talked about, you know, when we saw you in Morecambe, you hinted at it that day when you had your Ring Magazine belt.
yeah,
That you weren't, there was a hollow feeling about going back.
I was.
But do you think you could deal with it better this time?
I think I've learnt now to manage my depression and stuff, because it never goes away. Anybody who suffers with mental health problems, it'll never ever leave you. It's always there in the background somewhere, but you've got to learn to manage it. And I believe I can manage it better now. And as for do I like Eddie Hearn or not, I think he's a decent bloke, to be honest. He's funny, charismatic, young, good looking, tall, everything that a good promoter should be. British, got good dress sense. I don't dislike Eddie. I think he's a nice fella. Like when I've been in his company and that, we always have a laugh and chat, whatever. And I understand it's just business. Look,
he says you're hard to negotiate with.
I am not born yesterday. I'm not green either. You know, I know my worth. And if anybody in life knows the worth, then never sell yourself short of your worth.
Isn't a fight though, like you say, we might want it, the public might want it, the boxing fans, the sports fans want it. The biggest fights that Britain would ever have would be you and Anthony Joshua
Of course.
in the next 12 to 15 months.
But it seems to me that they never talk about fighting Tyson Fury.
No, they don't. You're right, they don't.
Exactly. It seems to me that this is a one-way deal. It's like
Styles, isn't it?
Yeah.
Styles.
It's like I want the fight because I don't want to deprive the public. Whatever happens in between me and Deontay Wilder has got nothing to do with me and Anthony Joshua. The Joshua and me fight should happen whether or not.
Yeah, I agree. But what did you see in the Povetkin fight?
I thought he'd done really well, to be fair. I thought AJ handled it terrifically, because Povetkin is nobody's fool. Povetkin's a dangerous customer, and as you've seen with Duapas and Takam and everybody else who he fought, Mike Perez even, Marius Vac, all these guys, he handled them very good. And the only person to ever beat him was Vladimir. Vladimir beat many, many, many men. So there's no shame in losing to Vladimir Klitschko.
He didn't have an answer for Klitschko, did he?
He just didn't. And
Klitschko was probably a very strong Klitschko at the time as well,
Yeah,
with that very, you know, just the jab and the grab, and when they're hurt, maybe the right hand, but nothing more than that.
Exactly, and it seemed to work.
And the leaning on and all of the...
But I think with Joshua's performance over Povetkin, he done really well, and Povetkin hit him with some good punches and that. And I even believe he shook him up a few times, and I thought he did fantastic to win and to carry on what he's doing for boxing.
But what did you see there that you liked for you?
See, for me to fight, for me and him, it's totally different. It's like, I want to say this, but I don't want people to think that I'm being nasty towards him, because he has the awesome power and the strength and the body and the mass and everything else that goes with that type, but he doesn't have my boxing ability, and anybody who knows boxing will tell you, admit the truth. And unless he catches me with a big punch, he can't win, really. He ain't going to outpoint me, and I'm a very slick customer. So it is a very awkward fight for him. Even the worst Tyson Fury that's ever been will give him a hard night, because it's styles make fights. Not because I'm so great at what I do. It's just because I'd be awkward for someone like his style. As we saw with styles making fights, just an example is Joe Frazier, George Foreman. Foreman sparked him easily. And then Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier, he had 3 hard fights. And then look what Ali did to Foreman. So styles always make fights. You can even put Ken Norton in that mix as well. Some people have hard fights with some people and have easy fights with others. And then some people who you could beat easy probably knock out the man who beat you. And that's just styles.
How does the style between, not this particularly relevant, not after a big answer, have you thought about Joshua and Wilder?
Yes, I have. And without being biased towards the British guy, I think that Wilder's probably all wrong again for Joshua. All wrong. Because he's very tall and rangy, and we know he's got dynamite in his hands. And Joshua, if you throw 5 punches, you probably hit him with 4. Because he blocks with his hands. And that's he's got the classic style of defence where he catches, counter, classic defence of his hands up like that there, walking forward, taking it on the arms and gloves. But with someone like Wilder, you can't afford to stand there and take them punches, because no matter how strong you are, he'll get them shots through.
So you against Wilder is for the #1 position in the world?
Me against Wilder is going to have the awkwardest night on the earth ever. Whoever wins out of me and Wilder will then, I believe, will then go and fight Joshua and be victorious. Not because Joshua's terrible or whatever, but I just think me and Wilder are all wrong for Joshua.
But but if you were, you know, but your view is that this is for the #1 position in the division right now.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know, you got the lineal champion, WBC champion, 2 of the most awkward, avoided, dangerous fighters on earth. Let's not forget, we don't want to go into politics in boxing and all that, but there was $80 million on the table for Joshua to fight Deontay Wilder, and that wasn't taken.
It was 50.
50 and 30 for a rematch.
Oh right, yeah, well,
So
right
80.
was it? Yeah.
So I don't know what people are making in the finances. It's none of my business. But if you can turn 80 million down for 2 fights, then obviously there's either 2 things. You're either making more than 80 million fighting whoever, Povetkin and Takam and Parker, them type of opponents, or you think you'd rather have 3 of them opponents than 1 Deontay Wilder because he's more dangerous. And I think it's the latter. I think it's the Wilder's dangerous, and it could end a career. The golden goose, the money conveyor belt. I don't think it's so much Joshua, because as a fighter, we all believe we can take on armies and anybody. But it's the management, and that's why he's got great management. I could never say Eddie Hearn's a bad manager or a bad promoter, because look what he's done with Joshua. Look at the job he's done with the fighters he's got. He's done a fantastic job of managing him and promoting him. And I don't believe anybody else could have done the same job in the world. Anybody.
Does it bug you that he's got the 3 belts that you held?
No, because
not at all. No.
Not at all, because I didn't defend them belts, and I wasn't physically or mentally ready to do anything about it. Like I said, I could have boxed for money. Of course I could have done. Went in there and got knocked out. But I'm not about that.
Do you think because the mainstream don't understand technically a lot of them boxing, and you know it takes a lot to understand it. Do you think, like you say, he's been very well managed and very well promoted, but do you feel that, I know you may have even said before, that the British public is slightly conned thinking how good he is as a boxer?
No, I think he's awesome. As a fan and as a boxing enthusiast, I think he's a very awesome specimen of a man.
Have you met him?
Yes, many times.
Do you get on?
I don't say we don't get on.
But you're rivals, really, aren't you? You're
we're in the same division. And
no, you're right, but you're rivals, though.
Yeah, we don't want to get too friendly, you know what I mean?
No, exactly, yeah.
But I think he's awesome. I think what he's done for boxing, what he's done for his family and everything else is awesome. Very awesome. He's changed his styles. And I admire that so much. Like Deontay Wilder, myself, anybody who's successful at what they do means they put in a lot of sacrifice and they've worked their nuts off to be there. And anybody like that deserves so much respect, and they deserve 10 times more than they ever get.
You know how hard he works.
I know how hard boxing is, and I know how hard that they all work to be where they are. So they need applauding for it. And you know, sometimes that...
What's happened to you? You used to be the terror of everyone.
I know, but...
You're very chilled out, aren't you?
It is, but the thing is before I had to make a name for myself. Years ago, I wasn't the Gypsy King, I wasn't Tyson Fury, I wasn't this iconic, legendary fighter who grows a massive beard and can come back from all these problems. I was just another boxer who was winning. I wasn't tried and tested. But now I'm qualified to talk professionally because I've been there and I've done it all. I couldn't talk about world champions before because I wasn't a world champion.
Is it fun for you though? Because I know it's almost like a gypsy tradition, a traveller tradition. Some of the traveller boxers used to walk with their fans to the arenas or to the rings. How much fun was it when you won in Manchester and you walked through the street? I mean, that video is it was almost like an advert, isn't it?
The video doesn't do how many people justice there was.
How much fun was that for you though? With people walking down the street?
It was amazing. You probably never ever see that again in boxing.
There were thousands of people with you.
There were thousands. The whole of that big strip through Manchester.
Street?
Yeah, Deansgate. Right through Manchester, from the Emian Arena right down to the Hilton Hotel at the bottom. I think it's well over a mile. Yeah. And every person walked to the end. And they were screaming, "There's only one Tyson Fury." We walked past it.
You were as well.
Yeah, I was as well. Everybody was. I was so caught up in the moment, and I loved every minute of it. And the fans will remember that because not often do they ever get to do them sort of things with their sporting heroes.
They're normally adverts, Tyson, when that happens. It's not normally real life.
I had no security with me.
Yeah, no.
I was in amongst everybody. Me, my dad, Shane, everyone was just there, yes, coming on. And then the police didn't even try and stop us.
No, they just kind of...
Everyone stood back and he just nodded at me and winked at me like that. And I put my hand up like that. And we just kept walking. And people were just coming to the crowds and crowds and crowds. It was an amazing experience. At the end of it, it was like, thank you to everyone who came. And
because I went on the radio after that fight because I know you were horribly overexcited during that fight. You know, picking him up because it was relief you were back, wasn't it? That's what I said on the radio. I said, I know Tyson well enough to know that the opponent wasn't an issue for him was ever going to be in a. You know, they probably should have got someone who was 6'7" and 22 stone, but it was your over exuberance was just seemed like a relief that you were back. You were happy.
It was. I was in a dark place for so long, and to see the light again and be involved in the light, it was great.
Is it nice being popular?
it's nice doing something you love and people rewarding you for it, like giving you praise, I suppose. But you know, anyone who's good at something should get the just as it serves.
But I think people enjoy you and like you so much because, I mean, as I've learned with you over 10 years covering your career from, you know, right from the start, and as I mentioned to you earlier about talking to your dad and your uncle Peter, John and Peter, about when you were a tiny baby and your dad had said, you know that story, you know, you were pound when you were born, you were very premature. And, you know, you remember what he said to the nurse at the time and the doctor, you know, that you were going to be 7 foot tall and the heavyweight champion in the world. And I think people really enjoy, that's part of your story as well, I think people really enjoy the, just how big you are. You know, you're a giant human being, but you don't lord that physicality over people. Do you know what I mean?
No, I never do. I never want to either. I feel almost my size intimidates people enough without being abrupt mannered. So I try and be as nice as possible to everybody, and that's just who I am, I suppose. People who know me will understand that. But there is 2 different types of Tyson Furies. There's the showman,
yeah,
and then there's.
And we'll see that in Fight Week.
Of
yeah?
course you will.
And there's a different, the switch will flick, yeah?
Yes, because I'm a natural born entertainer.
But you'll be in his face as well, and you'll be doing all that, and but you're gearing up for a fight
of
then
course.
as well, aren't you, you know?
And now I'm just chilled out, relaxed in the environment, and
you've got a month
this
to
is
go.
probably the real me.
Yeah,
this is the most natural
well,
me.
I appreciate you being the real you. It's a real pleasure.
Yeah, but as for these fighters and all, like Wilder and Joshua, and there's other guys who's coming up who I would like to mention as well. Like there's Jarrell Miller, who's doing awesome at the moment. There's Pulev and Yui, they've just had a great fight together. And there's Andy Ruiz Jr. and Joseph Parker. The list continues.
Do you think Daniel Dubois is a talent?
Dubois.
What about young Nathan Gorman?
Nathan Gorman.
You can't forget him, you're related to him.
Exactly, there's just so many...
Bartley's
nephew.
Yeah, Bartley Gorman, the king of the
So
gypsies.
many good heavyweights about at the moment throughout Europe and the world. It's a great time to be involved with heavyweight division. I'm just happy to be a part of a thriving division, to be honest. And there's so many different opinions going around, and that's what makes it exciting. People split opinions on who's going to win more. But time will tell the story.
I just want to jump in here and just say thanks to the Gypsy King. Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure. I really appreciate you having me into your house in the Hollywood Hills. It is genuinely a pleasure to spend an hour.
If you want to take the limo out, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I'll take the chauffeur to take me out, and we'll go out in the limo later up through the hills. Thanks very much.
Do you like spiders?
No, I do not.
Fucking wait till you see this.
No, don't.
Please just have a look at it.
No, I don't want to. I don't know.
Please just have a look at it.
No, I don't want to.
Don't chuck it on him, just let Tim!
Do you know what the truth is? I really don't like spiders.
Can you take that down, Tim?
I've actually I just got knocked over, so do tap it. Yeah, no, I am terrified of spiders. And I was thinking, oh no. Because I don't even like because they've got the Black Widow here, haven't they?
Yeah.
They have. Yeah. Do you like spiders?
Well, you shoot yourself for all that.
I did. I really fucking don't like. I mean, I don't like. You know house spiders in the UK are that big now.
Yeah.
I can't even take them. There's Black Widows here, though. You know.
That's the biggest spider I've seen. But
No, the Black Widows are that big, and you die.
never.
You'll see the red back on them. There's a silverback widow as well. They're tiny. They nest in garages.
What if they sting you?
No, you just get an aerosol and you fucking light it and you just fucking.
Yeah, but if they sting you, you die.
Well,
Yeah, mostly.
you get a big. It won't kill you. You're too big, but your arm would come up like that. Yeah.
The Black Widow.
That big. And do you know what they do though as well, Shane?
Yeah, what?
They can jump 4 feet onto you.
Never.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe that, would you?
No, they can. They can, yeah. So I've just broken my camera. I don't know if there's anything else to ask.
Probably not.
I had an amazing interview with the strength and conditioning guy, talking about how, like, you're lifting. That you haven't always done mega lifting.
Ever since I took with Peter, 2012.
Oh, you have been, yeah.
I've been doing conditioning with weights, yeah. And for someone long, I'm very strong, which is what people would underestimate.
No, I saw that today. Like I was saying, when you roll out long, because when you roll out with your arms long as well, you're 11 foot tall?
Something like that.
Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. No, I mean, I think this is a tough fight. I really hope you outbox him. I hope you hit him with a check hook or something as he comes by.
Boom! Out.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, can happen. I'm looking for that. I'm looking for that Andy Lee hook he hit John Jackson with.
Yeah. Because I've been thinking about that in my head. How his feet are off the ground sometimes when he launches, and if you are able to time him while he's in the air, do you know what I mean? Like left check hook or check hook, because he does. He did well against Ortiz. I was live at that. I thought he did well that night.
Oh, of course he did.
Great
performance.
Yeah.
Showed he can come back from being hurt and come back from being behind.
Yeah.
That's what a champion does, isn't it?
Well, I'd always said I hoped you'd have 3 or 4 fights before you came back. But now, and you're here and you're in this kind of shape, mentally and physically, emotionally even, so relaxed. I'm clearly wrong, because you know that you're ready for this.
Listen, I'm ready for this, and I'm ready for anything Deontay Wilder's gonna bring. I mean, movement and speed is enough to off-balance anybody. What it is my length is very underestimated, and my agility to go with awkwardness and size. Even if I couldn't do anything, that'd be enough to make anybody have an awkward night. And Deontay Wilder's never fought anybody bigger than him, ever. And he's never had to punch up before. And he's never had to chase someone down who's moving. And in order to land power punches, you have to set. He can't land power punches on the move. He's got to stand still, and it's something I don't do, as you've seen today. I don't stand still. So it's going to be interesting. It'll be a chess match. People think it's going to be this big war, like.
Yeah, he'd probably be cagey early on, wouldn't he?
Very cagey.
I mean, the Ortiz fight was fairly cagey early on, and Ortiz won 5 rounds early on. Probably 5 of the first 6 or 7. No, I really hope so. I still think it's a tough fight.
Of course, it's a tough fight for anybody.
Yeah, but you know this as well. Never watched enough boxing that if someone's not having any success and they're 6 or 7, it'd be the same against Joshua, I think. Because I think you said it to me once, 7 rounds, he's 5 down, and he's wondering when those punches are going to land. Joshua's very straight, isn't he, with his punches? Yeah. He's more dangerous, actually, when you're in close. Like, with his short hooks and his uppercut, those are probably his best punches, to be honest. Because from back here, he's that, isn't he? Wilder, I don't know, like you say, you've probably got to be switched on for every minute of 12 rounds, unless you put him away.
Of course.
I like the check hook for Tyson as Wilder comes in off his feet.
So good, isn't it? You just got to put it into
You
action.
can say, I mean, it's so good.
You just got to put it into action when someone's in front of you.
It's great to see you so confident now and so happy,
If you're a happy fighter, you can do your job, can't you? I'm not thinking about anything else apart from just fighting, boxing.
Because I do see why you took it as well, is that you don't want to fight Dillian Whyte, you don't want to fight Derek Chisora again. Who else is there? Who else is there for you to fight?
Yeah.
You don't want to fight Parker, Again, he wouldn't be able to do anything, he wouldn't get near you.
No.
Would he? He'd miss and miss. And Dillian's, Dillian's resilient and willful.
Him and Chisora are about level, aren't they? Because
I thought Chisora won the first fight.
Yeah, so did I.
By a round, to be fair.
Yeah, so they're pretty even. I beat Chisora when I was 21 years old.
No, the most enjoyable, I would say, for me watching on the night, and I was working radio on the night, Your performance against Chisora at the XL, which was a fucking nightmare night. Remember, it was foggy outside and we were really late, and there were no trains out of there. Or do you remember?
Yeah.
And it ran really
Everyone
late.
had to leave at about 11.
No, you couldn't see more than 20 yards. That performance that night, I think, is the most complete I've ever seen you box. Because you switch southpaw and you must have hit him with 100 left uppercuts. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Derek Chisora, I know David Hay knocked him out in 2012.
Tough
But
run, isn't it?
exactly. He had no will left. You took his will away in that fight.
His eye was
it
a
around
massive
11?
hole, wasn't it? Yeah,
Quitting still?
around 11 he quit and still, yeah.
That was Tyson. That was an amazing performance for the accuracy of what you were doing, and you boxed most of the fight southpaw for a start.
Yeah.
Do you remember all the uppercuts? And I thought that was a great performance. What were you then? 24, 20. When was that? 215? Was that
214 and to 14, so I'd have been 26.
Yeah, you were 26. Yeah. I thought that was a great performance. I think Derek's a weird one. I mean, he was getting beaten up by Takam. Why was he getting beaten up by Takam? They said he had a plan to sit on the ropes. Fair enough. Takam did exhaust himself. I mean, it was like watching twins box, wasn't it? With those two. But I think White will beat him this time. I think he'll stop him.
You reckon?
White's got shoulder problems, so he has to kind of throw like this, doesn't he? Because he finds it hard to punch straight. I don't know. I think I do. To be fair to Derek, I thought he did enough to win that first fight. Was it a split decision?
I'm back in...
2 years ago, he
I'm
mentioned
back
it.
in Chisora to stop White.
Oh, really? This time you think he'll stop him?
Yeah.
I think if White comes out and just uses his jab, that's enough to beat Derek Chisora. If White comes out and has a war...
Yeah, he has got a good jab.
If he just comes out and has a war, then it's 50-50. Isn't it?
White's got his... Yeah, but White wins, he knows he's got Joshua in April. That's what... They won't go for Jarrell Miller in April, will they?
No, I don't.
They'll go for White, won't they?
Yeah, but if Chisora wins, will he get the shot at Joshua?
No.
Why is that?
It won't sell. Won't sell. It won't sell. Will it? It won't sell Wembley. They won't be able to sell it.
How come they can sell White then if he lost?
Because of the, because of the animosity between the two of them. I think it works more. Certainly in my head promotionally, but...
What has Chisora got to do to get a world title shot then? Because he's beat Carlos Takam, who gave Joshua a good fight. And if he beats Dylan White...
No, technically you're completely right. Yeah, I mean, he should be, I mean, he also gave Vitaly Klitschko his hardest fight since Lennox Lewis, if you remember.
Yeah, he did.
Even though he's carrying an
made
injury.
him work. Made him work.
Yeah.
And if he beat Dylan White, then he's got to get a world title shot, somebody, hasn't he?
But if you've got the WBC title, would you fight Derek Chisora again?
Third fight. It's not much of a trilogy, is it? If I won 2 fights, clearly easy.
No, I mean, no, destroyed him in the second one.
I'd fight Del again.
Del War Chisora.
Del War Chisora. When I beat this fella, then I might defend it again against Chisora because he's highly ranked with the WBC anyway. He's in the top 10. And if he beats Dylan White, he'll go to number 2 or number 1 because Dylan White's ranked number 1 in WBC.
He's like a cat, Chisora, isn't he? You can't just get him away, can you? He's got 7 lives.
Depends what.
He's got 8 lives. He's had 8 losses.
It depends what Chisora turns up. 'Cause sometimes he just hasn't seemed interested. But I think he is in a decent place now. It's funny he's teamed up with Hay though, isn't it? You see that?
Yeah. Unusual.
Yeah.
I think he's going to do it. I think he's at the twilight of his career. How old is Derek?
33 or something.
No, he's at 36.
He's got to be. I was 22 and he was 27, so he's 5 years older than me.
He's 37.
He's 35.
Is he 35? Mm.
He's 5 years older than me.
How old was he when he fought you?
27.
I think he's 37.
35. If he was a car, he'd probably have 350,000 miles on the clock, wouldn't he?
He's had some hard fight. Every fight he has is hard, isn't it? Because of his style.
I tell you what, he's an old truck, is what he is. That you can still get something out of. He's an old Land Rover, is what he is.
You gonna avoid Derek Chisora at all costs? Because as soon as he sees you, he's gonna hit you, isn't he? He's like an old truck. I don't
He
think
is an
Derek
old
Chisora looks like feels like an old truck.
No, he's not. He's fine with me. He's fine with me.
Case.
Yeah, he is a case, definitely. He's, you know. I like Derek. You never know what mood he's in. That's all. I'm trying to remember now. Looking at you two, are you 2 years older than Tyson?
3 years younger than him.
3 years younger. Because I remember your little brother.
Yeah.
When he was 11, he looked about 17
Yeah.
with his curly ringlets. When he was 16, I thought he was 25.
He's curly. Oh yeah.
He had curly ringlets when he was about 16. And he was, you know, he's not as tall, but he's hench, isn't he? Now, what's happening with him?
He is married and...
Is he boxing?
No, he's not boxing. He had 8 professional fights, he's 7
Yeah, that's right, but he stopped. I remember when you threw a bottle at the Brentwood Leisure Centre. Was it you that threw the bottle across the ring?
My oldest brother.
That was the oldest brother. Do you remember that?
The loose cannon.
Against John McDermott. I thought it was going to kick off between the Travellers that night. The McDermotts and the...
Yeah, it was.
I can remember seeing the bottle fly across the ring. And the weird thing is for the media, there's only 5 rows of seats one side in that place, and it's like a cauldron. Because that first fight, did you have 2 fights with him?
Yeah.
First one was close, wasn't it?
Close, yeah.
I gave that to him by one round, you know, that night.
Good job, Terry O'Connor gave it me by 9 rounds.
No, it was Richie Davis, wasn't it?
Terry.
Was it Terry? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only fight I've ever scored against you that you've been in.
98, 92.
That was the hardest fight Tyson's career.
Yeah, I like McDermott. I always liked him, and I knew his trainer, old Joe, that used to work security in the West End in London, and yeah, because I didn't expect you on my card to lose. I looked down. I don't normally see how I'm scoring a fight. I just look at the end, and I had him winning by a round. That was the night where you landed one on yourself.
No, it wasn't.
Was it not?
No.
Was it not?
Fight after. No, well, that was
fight
4 fights.
4th fight. Against
Was fight.
Lee Swaby.
Oh, was it against Sway? Because it's not unusual for people to land uppercuts on themselves. There's a lot of that.
It rebounds off the other person's defence. I wonder why they've got all them peacock feathers in here.
It's like saying, I wonder why they've got that photo on that wall.
It's supposed to be very unlucky feathers.
Yeah.
Very. Especially peacock feathers.
Is there pressure in your family
About what?
for Tyson to... He's achieved, you know, great things.
Yeah.
You know, that means so much to the family. I mean, I've even spoken to John about it, you know.
Yeah.
Do you think there's pressure on him?
Pressure on him or
Yes,
us?
and on him.
Of course there's pressure on him. There's pressure in every fight, whether you're going for your first amateur fight, whatever. It's not the fight, getting punched in the face or getting beat
But
up.
pressure from the race,
Yeah.
from
It's the
the
pressure.
family you are,
It's the
because
pressure
I don't
of
see
losing.
Tyson showing it.
It's
Yeah,
a-
it's
it's
pressure
a
of losing.
Pressure of losing.
Right.
And the more you build up and the more you've got to lose. If I put a pound on a bet, if I lose, I lose. Derek Chisora will probably have no pressure because he's lost 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. He's fought good men.
The worst
He'll
thing to
always
do
put
with
a bit of
Derek is get
counter.
under his skin. Give him a reason. Or with Derek, I think. Don't give him a reason, is my feeling with him.
Didn't work with Tyson. Did it?
You didn't bother winding him up, no?
I warmed him up to the max.
I nearly had a straight with it. No, the
No,
more
but
you've got to
he
lose.
couldn't box you. You're too difficult for him. You're too difficult for him.
The more you've got to lose, the more pressure is. I can go swimming. A swimmer can go swimming if he can stand up in the water comfortable. But chuck him in deep, chuck him in something deeper and what he's himself has panic there. You know, more you've got to lose, the more nerve wracking it is. Tyson's got to lose a lot, hasn't he?
I don't know. I had an inkling things were going very well that week against Klitschko. Very few of us kind of could put our hand on the table and say, no, Tyson's going to do it tonight. But once the fight started, you could just see. Even after a couple of rounds, you could just see.
I don't think anyone thought Tyson was going to win, did
A couple of people... I wrote my week. I sent all my work to Paris from that week.
Yeah.
There's some really nice stuff about your family and some.
Did you pick Tyson to win?
I said it would have to be an incredible performance, and that Klitschko would be very difficult to beat. But when you look back on it now, there wasn't the form book against Klitschko to prove it. But Frank Warren hit the nail on the head with his comments, which he always said he'll do it. I don't know whether it was guess or not, but Tyson will do it because Klitschko's never dealt with anyone that long before, and he can't deal with people that big. And Tyson will just outbox him, and so it proved. But I mean, you didn't just outbox him. You put your hands behind your back. You put your gloves on the rope. You teased him. You took his jab away. And amazingly, in the post-fight press conference, he said, I couldn't throw my right hand when my jab was taken away, as he never heard of a right-hand lead. He just couldn't do it, could he? You know?
No, I'm going to take Deontay Wilder's heart away in this fight. It's going to be more humiliating performance than against Klitschko. Everyone says, oh, he wouldn't do that against the big puncher, put his hands behind his back and play up. But I did against Klitschko. And I will against Wilder. I'm going to have fun. I don't feel any pressure.
That's an art, don't they, as well? You know?
I don't feel no pressure in this fight. Got nothing to lose. Everything to gain, nothing to lose.
See, that's what...
Yeah, when you...
See, I believe you. I don't see you...
What have I got to lose? Yeah. I've come back after being nearly suicide in 28 stone. I'm fit as a fiddle. I'm in a great mental place. I've got everything I ever wanted and dreamed of. I'm on the verge of another big fight. Whether I win or lose a decision against Deontay Wilder, I've already won.
You're sitting here, by the way, in a house that, next door Brad Pitt could be living, and Angelina Jolie. And
I've already won. To be here in LA for 8 weeks training camp, that's already won. If people saw me when I started, a year ago, you'd say that I couldn't come back. It wouldn't be possible to.
I don't know. We've seen a few clips on the pads, didn't we? He looked sharp there, 30 stone, didn't they? Slipping and sliding. Good on.
Well, I went to see Tyson in Marbella 15 months ago. Was it June or July in Marbella?
Yeah.
You were big then, but you were thinking about coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it was a couple of days before UK anti-doping, I think it was. I mean, remember when even I could keep up with you jogging on the beach?
Yep.
We did go do about 5 mile though.
Did you run 5 miles?
Yeah, I can run 5 miles, yeah, but slow.
Yeah, we'd go slow.
I'm sure you're athletic, or strong at least.
Yeah, look how athletic.
I played a lot of rugby in my time. A lot of rugby, yeah.
That was me at my fattest.
Oh no, that's awful. That is awful. There's a picture of me and you sitting, which they use in the Telegraph, sitting in the MTK gym in Marbella, and you spread out on the sofa. But I thought it had affected your voice at the time when I met you, but not met you, but came to see you. But it wasn't. It was because you got so big that your voice has changed, but it wasn't. It was to do with the
throat injury. Yeah. I've still got the same voice now.
Yeah, but we've got used to it
now. Yeah.
God, I just hope you're going to be able to sing for us on the night.
No, the singing career's over.
Unless
We love that.
Unless I get this,
The Americans love that.
Yeah, but it's over. He can't do it.
Unless I get the voice done again, sorted out, and blood clot removed, then I won't be able to sing anymore.
That's great when you sing.
Well, this voice has got more pain in it, hasn't it, than the last one?
More emotion, yeah.
So I wouldn't change it. It's part of me now. And imagine if I went back to the normal voice again. It'd be like, oh, where's it gone? But it's been good.
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm Gareth A Davies, and you've been listening to the Fighting Spirits podcast. Go to my website, garethadavis.com, to subscribe to all my work.